And then people are saying आपको कुछ नहीं आता है, आप हमारे ऑफिस में आओ, फ्री में काम करो, 5,000 स्टाइपेंड में काम करो, 10,000 स्टाइपेंड में काम करो, and you will learn. आपको तो कुछ आता ही नहीं है. Yes, if I wanted just a job and wanted to earn enough money, there were easier paths to earn you money. So the idea was कि to build something outside of this. And I said कि 10 लाख की revenue इसमें आएगा ना, तो my company said people are filing false cases left, right and center, and people get away with it. Similarly, judges are giving decisions based on emotion, not on law, based on their preferences.
Thank you so much, Ramanuj, for joining us for this podcast. It's really great to have you over at our show.
It's a pleasure.
Let's just dive in. You have founded Law Seekho, and you're also the founder of iBreeders. And I'm sure you have ventured into further enterprises as well. What was the idea behind, starting iBreeders?
So I think I started IPS in college when I like that's like 2009. The idea was that so when I started, like it may not sound like that anymore now, but when I started blogging around law, there was no information available for common people about law on the internet. That will sound absolutely crazy right now.
This is back in 2009.
Back in 2009, there used to be vlogs, but those blogs were for lawyers. So there used to be like Spicy IP, Indian Corporate Law blog. At least they had thousands of readers.
Right.
Not millions of readers, but thousands of readers. But there the reason for that because it was very complicated text, generally complicated legal literature, written by lawyers for other lawyers.
Right.
And that also some very academic type lawyers would read. And so I felt that that is not how legal blogging should be. There should be blogs for which explain the law in a simple manner to the general public. Their questions get answered.
Okay.
Over time, that has changed. I remember at that time I had to persuade lawyers to write on a blog for general people because they'll be like, if I share my knowledge, then what is the value of my knowledge? I'm sharing it for free. This is not good. But I persuaded a lot of lawyers to write, used to write, and I got law students to write. I got my students to write and publish. And that's how the blog grew. But yeah, so the idea was that legal information in a simplified way, if available to the public, it would make a difference. I didn't have very clear idea about how it will be monetized, how you will ever make money. We didn't make much money from that blog anyway. But very proud that we have shared a lot of information. And I think now there's a very different kind of mindset in lawyers. They want to share more and more and more information.
I think that's also got to do with the fact that social media has become quite big, and I think that is also a source for people to get viewership. Or
Social media was there even that time. Facebook was there in 2009, but lawyers were not sharing. There was a very strong belief that it is a worthless pursuit to share your knowledge on social media, blogging, that,
making it more common for people.
it was not considered a good practice or a useful. I remember I used to teach our students that you should share knowledge on social media. It will make a difference. And some of the more older students will fight with us, say, why you in this?
So students from college or like
Courses, online courses students, there would be lawyers with more experience, 30, 40 years.
So I completely get this though कि एक वो mentality होती है कि मेरे को knowledge है तो मैं क्यों उसको share करूँ, वो it will become more people will get to know and they will get to
Why will they pay us then? So lawyers thrived on information asymmetry in the past. But the entire law was a very secure job and lawyers made a lot of money. Every lawyer on information asymmetry. So information asymmetry means that lawyers have some specialized knowledge that a normal person cannot access. They have to go to that lawyer. So for example, previously a case law was not accessible to a normal person. Today it's not like that. You can Google and find the case law.
right.
But back then it was not like that. Because a lawyer would buy these volumes of books, case law, like Supreme Court Digest and All India Record. Anyway, so people they had to spend capital buying that. And only those people who had access to a legal library like that could actually deliver any kind of legal information. Like you want to know what is the latest Supreme Court position, you couldn't find it unless you have those books. And you had to have, you have to update it constantly.
My question here is that why did you want common public to get these insights on, or simplifying these legal laws and, lexical information that is out there? Matlab, how will the common man benefit? Basically, what was the game plan by making it more accessible and more understandable to people?
So first of all, there was no like a very elaborate game plan, but it was a basic like all. So I studied law because I wanted justice to be accessible, and one of the first step in my mind was that at least the legal information should be accessible, and it seemed very natural that the legal information should be accessible online. Nothing less than that. Like, it's like why is it not? Just like I was clear, the information asymmetry will not survive, and I wanted to play my part in that.
All right. So you had that intent of making.
It was not good. First of all, the information asymmetry seemed unfair. Then the power of internet is that it can make the information asymmetry go away. It has happened in every area, right? Today, you can, if you want to know about your health, you don't have to use it. You don't have to like, if you want to read the Vedas, you can read, right? Right. You want to understand a Sanskrit sloka, you don't have to go to Acharya to understand. Information, you hold of health information, you can get the best of it. And same thing for law. Why would there be any difference for law? Right. So that made a lot of sense. And see, the entire trajectory of my life has been around this, like, giving people access to that information, then teaching them. One is information. I realize information is not enough. Skill is more than information. So how can they learn the skill? Can I teach it to them? Can I make it accessible outside of certain institutions?
Yeah, and that kind of follows through with the, empowering more people. Right?
Sure. Yeah, that is what creates also information, skills. These are the things that create wealth, solves problems. So there are two things. Actually, I realized that the lawyers who will make this information publicly available will also gain trust, will also gain followership, will also gain clients. And
Interesting, huh?
so that was clear to me that this can happen. And this was a way to break the status quo. Right. So the status quo is that there are these old established lawyers who have spent, let's say, decades establishing the practice, and they are the ones that people know, follow, media follow them. I found that if you write blogs, even the journalists are reading it and following it and attributing expertise to the blog, right? So it's totally so the information, if you publish, it gives you a lot of power, a lot of access to the clientele, access to the people, and so on.
Okay, okay. So that kind of explains why it was started. The other thing is that I know you're from NUJS, and it's one of the most pristine universities for law and legal education. You basically had the entire option across India to join any firm, which I think you did also brief.
I work in law firm.
What I have read some of your posts from again back in the day, from maybe like 5-6 years ago, where you have kind of given an entire briefing about what made you leave your job and pursue this. But I would like to hear it from you personally. Uh, Having all the options, knowing that personally and moving in a safer direction, you could have had any career you wanted in any field of law. What made you kind of do the hard grind? Because building something from scratch definitely we'll come to that as well, but it could not have been easy. So, so what was the point of uh, having 5 years of education, which could have led you to a dream job, and not doing that and taking the hard route?
So I don't know if it is hard route or what route, but I don't think there was any other route, to be very honest. It's like this, that yes, if I wanted just a job and wanted to earn enough money, there were easier paths to earn you money. But somehow money was like important, but never was the primary focus in the way that. So for example, I remember when I decided that, probably I can't work within the system, then I can't make a difference. So I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to improve things, make make things actually better, and I wanted a big impact. And I remember for the first time when I interned in Bombay High Court under a lawyer, I was very excited about arbitration. And then I started handling arbitration files, going to arbitrations under that lawyer, attending hearings, right? And I realized that arbitrations are going on for 10 years, 12 years also.
Right. This was before
The 1.5 crore ka bill was not paid. Arbitration has cost more than 3.5 crores already. Both sides individually, right? So it was like ridiculous. I would be like, ye kya hai? Well, why is this? This is a farce. Why is this one happening?
right.
Right? There was no need for this. And like we read in textbook that arbitration is supposed to be quick. It is supposed to be like, whatever we read, none of that was happening. And I was there for just 2 months. In 2 months, I saw so much that, and the lawyer was like, "Ye to kuch nahi hai. If you come back after 5 years, this arbitration will still be going."
I'll just drop in here for a second. And also, I also feel a lot of times when in my interaction and experiences, I have seen that uh, a lot of times these things would also be delayed on purpose.
On purpose. So there are like Supreme Court judges, retired Supreme Court judges doing the arbitration, or a retired High Court judges.
Right.
And let's say one arbitrator could not come. And they're like, okay, very good, very nice. Today you don't have to work. What is there for lunch? Or like, any small excuse they want to like cancel the hearing, right? Because they are paid per hearing. They don't want the hearings to get over.
As per the appearances, yes.
Right? So there will be more and more. Everybody is incentivized to do this. Right? Lawyer also happy, no problem. ठीक है, ऐसे ही होता है, क्या दिक्कत? Right? This is how it is going on for forever. So it's like, it feels like, this is like wrong. And so one thing I realized that this is how it is operating for a while. Lawyers are all benefiting from this. Arbitrators are benefiting, judges are benefiting, and judges also don't allow, like, they keep the arbitration thing within their circles, within their retired judge kind of thing. Like, very, very,
Like who is appointed?
yeah, as a yogi.
Because correct.
So it's like a very comfortable thing for everyone, and the system has no incentive to change. Right? So I was very clear that if I work in this system, I'll be part of the system. I can't change anything. I can make any difference. You have no. I also will have no incentive to change anything. You can be a successful lawyer. You can be a successful arbitrator. You can be a judge. You can do many things. Like this is all good. They're all good outcomes for individuals. But where is the justice? And that felt very wrong.
Understood.
So it was like, ठीक है यार, ये system को अगर बदलना है तो you have to be outside the system. You can't be inside the system. Okay, so that is one part of it. Then also there are a lot of questions. How do you change the system? Do you go to village and start working for people there? Right? Is that a valid, effective option? What do you do? What do you do? Do you start a NGO and start working? What exactly do you do?
Right.
Right? Do you start a a grassroots movement of lawyers or something, or law student? But क्या करोगे? मतलब, there are many different paths, avenues. But one thing I very strongly felt after seeing the situation with lawyers is that most of the lawyers themselves are they feel very betrayed, very tricked. Even now, most of my students were like in their 30s, 35, 40 years old. They're like, ye to, like, except barring a few privileged people, most of them after studying law feel betrayed because they're like, I can't understand. Like, I spent 5 years, I did all the things, I passed those exams. That 40-50 exams would be there.
So betrayal का किस चीज में feel होता है?
Because they did everything they're supposed to do,
हाँ.
but they don't even produce any results. So imagine if I tell you कि 5 years you have to study this, you have to pass these many exams, you have to do these many internships, you have to do this practicals, whatever, so many things you have done, and you've done everything. Let's say you've done well in those academic parameters. And then you are not able to help even a small client in anything. How would you feel? Will you feel betrayed? Imagine you study medicine.
Absolutely.
5 years, 7 years, you did everything, internship, whatever, externship, sab kuch kar diye. And then Somebody comes and says, I have fever. You can't help them. How would you feel?
Absolutely useless.
Right? And you're paid a ton of money also.
Hmm.
Right?
I think I'm getting you. Yeah.
So you will feel, and then people are saying, आपको कुछ नहीं आता है, आप हमारे ऑफिस में आओ, फ्री में काम करो, 5,000 स्टाइपेंड में काम करो, 10,000 स्टाइपेंड में काम करो, right? And you will learn, आपको तो कुछ आता ही नहीं है. Obviously, you will feel betrayed,
That's true.
right?
Yeah.
And that is which is happening to most of the lawyers.
And so,
And they are in a very weak position in the whole system, right? So if you're a fresh lawyer, law graduate, pass the bar exam,
yeah, you have to start with a basic grind, which goes only uphill.
uphill, and like you don't, so people had some expectation that, and that is not full. It feels like they feel cheated after 5.
See, I would just argue, just for the sake of it here, that there is also this entire mentorship policy also and process also, right? So I mean, if you go and start working with a senior lawyer, it's not just about the money that you're getting; it's also the experience.
Yes, but the whole idea is that first you do 5 year of law. Then why is it 5 year or 3 year of law?
Fair,
Right.
yeah.
So for example, in the UK, there's a rule that if you clear the solicitor qualification exam, then you are okay. It's a tough exam. You have to know the law, then you can clear. Why are you forcing people to study law for 5 years? Number one. Why can't the mentorship happen side by side? Chalo, while they were studying, somehow if they were learning the on the job at the kuch to karo, matlab, how can you expect somebody like this is really weird. Like, you are saying 5 years of law studies, or या तो 3 साल का graduation, then 3 साल का law studies. You have to pass all this exam. You have to know all this law. You have to pass the bar exam after that. But you don't know how to draft basic application support. You don't know how to draft a contract. You don't know how to enforce a contract. Like you are so helpless. Why is it like this? Is it suppose? Why is it necessary that it has to be like this? If the internship and the mentorship was so important, why it didn't happen right from the first year?
Chalo, I don't think that is going to be a much broader, education.
So the point is that the person feels betrayed.
Right.
I know this. It was like this 15 years back, and it is now also. Maybe even more, because now they're paying much more money. Imagine paying 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 4 lakh rupees per year fees. Right? You're paid 15 lakh, 20 lakh, 30 lakh rupees to study law for 5 years. And then you are in this situation.
Fair enough.
Right?
Right.
So obviously people feel betrayed.
So you're telling me
And then they see, look, you're saying mentorship 5 years. There's no guarantee after 5 years of mentorship they'll be anywhere. People do that. People, especially people who haven't, let's say, studied well in college, they're like, "Theek hai, college mein nahi kara tha, now I'll be serious in my mentorship and I'll try whatever. I'll work under a lawyer for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years." What is the quality of learning there? There is no guarantee that you will get any decent exposure or help or guidance or anything at all. Okay. Again, a very small percentage of people will come out with a good outcome from that process. So people after 5 years, 10 years of being that junior will be betrayed. They're like, I still don't know what I thought I learned, but I didn't learn it.
I get it. So you identified a problem with this with the.
So I was like, अगर lawyer का ही ऐसे हालत होगा, they have no way to learn their work, learn effective skills at to proficiency in something, anything, or there are so many new careers emerging, but there's no way for them to learn.
That's right.
So how can you expect them to serve other people genuinely, honestly, with care? ये कैसे होगा? मतलब, see, if the lawyer is hand to mouth, if the lawyer themselves is feeling betrayed after 5-10 years of grind, they will also take advantage of this. So मुझे ऐसे ही लगा कि ऐसे ही होगा. I don't see any. It's like a cycle of viciousness going on.
100%. When it comes to survival, though, you obviously have to look at yourself first.
Right. And the lawyer feels betrayed, taken advantage of by their senior, by their college, by the entire that senior profession who are already in a good place. They're just not giving us place to stand.
See, honestly, I can argue on the other side of this also, Ramanuj, that, end of the day, because of the major economic gap in our country, there are people who, who graduate from basically from even the most remote places, and they still take it very proudly. And the first thing I noticed this was when I moved out of Delhi and I went to Allahabad High Court. People take extraordinary pride there about being lawyers. तो वो सब तो है मेरे को बस ये what I would really want to know it, how does this problem that you identified connect to IP leaders in law Sikho?
So we knew that this was a problem. See, Allahabad, everywhere, they take pride in being a lawyer. But then they struggle. They are not able to earn money. Many people drop off. Imagine that when they realize that I am trying to do this, but somebody driving a Uber or like Ola or whatever, like even a carpenter is earning more than it. It's a very big problem.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And lot of people study law and then are forced to drop out. They're not able to. So it had also become, to be really privileged by support from a family for that 5-10 year grind without any earning, and then really a small percentage of people will crack it and figure it out, right? And you have to remember, while all this is happening, see, 20 years back, like I said, there was information asymmetry. So every lawyer had some work, and it was easier for the lawyer to survive. Right. Information asymmetry is gone. So you are not able to earn money just because you're a lawyer. You also need to now do more. You need to actually produce a result. You cannot just earn money in exchange of information.
बाबू का दे रहने से नहीं होएगा.
नहीं हुआ. Like, this is much harder to be a successful lawyer today than it was 30 years back when there was no internet. Almost every lawyer would have something. Now it is not true.
So would you like to kind of say that you have raised the bar in terms of the competition and competence?
I don't claim any credit for this. But the internet has created so many different information. See, today someone is a bad lawyer, right? There would be information about that on the internet. Somebody Googles will find it. It's getting harder and harder to bury it. There will be some anonymous, some comment, some review on Google. It's getting harder. Like, you can't be a so on one side, clients are sharing information more efficiently with each other. And they know it. They know, like, they are more networked than before.
So there is a basically the social media and so online world is basically police.
That is one. On the other hand, they can read the judgment themselves. They can ask ChatGPT to explain it to them. Right? You can't tell them some bullshit anymore, procedural. They know it. They can find out. So it's getting really hard for lawyers. So earlier
They have to perform better.
and clients don't respect you for giving them information. I have seen this, I have heard this, that every client had to go to a lawyer because that lawyer had a certain notification from government. And nobody else had that notification ki copy.
Acha.
So all lawyers, even other lawyers, will come and pay him fees just to get a, to see. He will not even give a copy of the notification. It just show them, ki read here. Right? That was the state of information asymmetry.
Wow. All right. Almost the monopoly of obviously. It's a
FDI related notification came from RBI. Only one lawyer in whole of Bombay has it. It has been like that in the past, right? Now compare that to today. Now lawyers are dancing on TikTok and Instagram and explaining the law for everybody to understand. Like, literally,
absolutely no. I don't.
there are lawyers who are dancing on Instagram to explain the law, and they have followers and they get clients on there, right? So things have changed a lot. I am not claiming credit for this. We have put, after we succeeded, 100 other people have done it.
Right. And so you've so मैं वही कह रहा हूँ the general competence level has raised.
People have access to knowledge today. So it's like my physio messaged me yesterday saying कि हमें ये notice मिला है और मैंने चैट जीपीटी से ये करके देखा कि ये रेगुलेशन है, ऐसे ऐसे है. मैं बोला हाँ, सबको समझ लिया. हाँ. So people are like that. He's a physio. He doesn't understand law. But वो जाके चैट जीपीटी में सर्च तो करता है. And chat GPT increasingly gives him the correct more accurate informations. Like, right? वो blog में भी नहीं है जो he is able to pull out from municipal archives.
अच्छा Ramanuj ji, somewhere I found it very interesting. अभी बात करते करते you mentioned that you wanted people to have access to justice and you want your entire I think that really speaks to you on your character. Thoda sa, tell me a little bit about, before you entered NUJS, what was life in school and everything before that?
So I was preparing to become a doctor. I thought will be a doctor. My parents also encouraged me to be a doctor. Okay. But I had this very strong thing that, there is no justice. Like things are unfair, very unfair. And when I figured out about law as a career, I thought कि ये तरीका है that I be able to get justice for myself and at least for my love. Right. That is how where it started. But yeah, I had this very strong feeling since a child because of various experiences in my childhood that justice is a very elusive thing, a very difficult thing to access. Which I still find that wherever I am in my life, I still don't find justice very easy to access. It's very complicated in our country. How to access justice. Just because you have money, don't necessarily you'll get justice. A lot of people with money and resources can't get justice.
That is, I think, again, being a socialist economy, catering to a large set of, diversity and population, I think you have to kind of make some amends. And even I realize that even if justice is to be served, it takes a long, long time. With the arbitration, like you mentioned, used to take 12 years. Until unless, I think, even after this law was passed that they have to be, after
Now things are better.
it's better, but it's still not on point.
No, it's not on point. So, Indian government realized that if we have to attract NDI, we have to improve our commercial justice system, right? Businesses have to be able to enforce contract and get justice. And because of that, many changes have been made in law. For example, what is the remedy for breach of contract? Earlier it was कि भाई breach of contract is not specifically enforceable unless there is a damage which cannot be paid with money. If it can be paid with money, then pay damages with money. And the government changed the law that no, that doesn't matter. Like it is first default is specific enforcement, which is like a contract has to enforce as it is. And if it cannot be enforced and it is too much cumbersome to enforce, then only damages. Government made this change in the last 5 years.
Interesting.
But is it how the courts function? Is it like it's not in the consciousness of it? In our country, businesses, it is extremely hard to enforce a contract for a business. Even now, right? There are commercial codes, there is this and that. But respect for contract, respect for business, respect for, it's not there.
Yeah, definitely. People don't have the fear in them.
Forget Rajas also don't want to enforce contracts. They have their hesitation and their ideological bent of mind not to enforce the contract. If today they also look at this, key, this is a bigger party, this is a smaller party. For example, if you have a contract with an employee, right? Good luck being able to enforce it. Right? Even if you're a small supplier, there's a big business you're doing, there's automatic like payment. It doesn't matter what is written in the contract.
Yeah, I think I actually see
You good luck with even getting check bounce case. The other party will come and tell a sob story and judge will give them time, some relief. Well, it's like by check bounce, it's written in our this thing that it is a offense.
Right.
But good luck, you will not be able to recover check bounce cases, your money in 5 years. Now, how do you do business like this? Right? So
it's very transaction driven market in our country.
it is not transaction driven. Transaction justice system is not transaction driven. It is heavily ideologically influenced, right? So they have a certain bend of ideological bend, and they will enforce that. Very unlikely to take a business friendly, or it's not that contract says this. They will see judges decide what the law is. The law may be whatever written in. They will find something to give the judgment they want to give.
Fair enough, right?
So these are the issues. But see, it is not only for business. On one hand, you have common people. If they are taken advantage of, very hard for them to get justice. On the other hand, you have created some holy cows. People are filing false cases left, right, and center. Right. They can. So it's all very what? There is no space. I mean, if you meet people from other countries, they will find it hard to believe that this level of false cases can be filed and people get away with it. Similarly, judges are giving decisions based on emotion, not on law, based on their preferences and,
Yeah, their own biases. I
they want to bat for the little guy, all of that. Like, so that is not fair or justice all the time, but that is how they take it.
It also happens, yes, certainly. And I would still, I have to give a moment and share personally that I personally feel that there is a certain set of individuals who are holding the justice system together at this point in time. Because
There are a lot of good judges out there because of whom things are still working good. But yeah, it's not, I mean, I would say, see, just because there are good individual doesn't mean the system is great. I think if you do a very neutral evaluation of the system, you will find that it is unbearable for most people, right? And it is, I mean, a lot of people, there are economists who have clearly said that if you improve the justice system in India, at least कुछ नहीं तो speed up ही कर दो, तो 2-4% GDP बढ़ जाए.
But desensitized already हो चुके हैं कि
हाँ, people are desensitized कि तो ये तो ऐसे ही है और ऐसे ही चलेगा, अब क्या कर सकते हैं, हमारे हाथ में तो.
ठीक है तो Ramanuj, before it I move towards talking to you about the entrepreneurial side of you, I quickly want to just take a sneak peek क्योंकि मैंने it's so funny, I keep bumping into people from NUJS who have studied there, and not as I'm yet to meet one person who doesn't know Ramanuj Mukherjee there. So, how was your college like? How, I mean, obviously, after you became a founder, definitely more exposure would have been there for people, but were you like a shy student? Were you very dedicated in your studies, or were you like an all-rounder? What was college like?
I was a big nerd in college. I was like studying all the time, trying to figure out how to win in life. Very, very focused, very, very like dedicated, yes. But I was not just studying also. It's not like just like topping in class didn't matter to me. I wanted to understand how am I going to be successful in life? What I have to, and I was pretty sure that only studying is not it. So there is going to be more than it. Like I wanted to do well academically. I did well academically. But it was like there must be something more than that. I didn't believe that only academic stuff will take care of me. So I wanted to figure out what else it is. Is it networking?
Hmm.
Is it, something else?
Right.
Trying to figure it
So, any insights from there that you figured out? Because if
So I think what happened, like I started building the blog. That was a good thing.
this happened in which year
This is like fourth year in college.
you started writing.
I started writing in second year of college, blogging. Then IPDS blog I started in fourth year. So blogging was definitely very good. Gave me a lot of exposure. I was very active on social media, so that also helped.
Right.
I was that time there was no concept of influencer and all of that, right? But in fact, people were quite critical of me that I was so active on social media, trying. But that I didn't care. I wanted to grow that reach, right? And then apart from that, I think trying to build something is very important. And I started trying to sell. So I learned to sell. I started to sell services in college. And I was making money. I was freelancing when I was a student. So I think I learned a lot from those things. I started teaching for CLAD. Because I had to pay my fees and I didn't have money. So I had to figure out a way to survive. And I was teaching for CLAD. I was managing people. I was managing a team of freelancers, creating courses, creating content, building websites, running, online forums. I built my own online forum, started running it. So learn community management. So that's a lot of learning. So I think you keep trying different things, trying to build a business on college.
That's crazy hands-on.
I think that I learned a lot from there. And I wish I cared. By the time I finished fourth year, I stopped caring about academic studies anymore. Fifth year, so I absolutely let it go. I didn't even care. And the funny thing is that less I cared, more I scored because I was not anymore trying to master a subject. I was trying to game the system to get the marks without too much effort.
Wow.
And then I got more marks because there is a very gameable system because of that. Other than that, I freed up my time, really worked. I had my clients, I had all of that, and that really helped.
So, okay, one very interesting point has come up here. How do you make yourself productive? Like, what's What's something that works for you? Because
So for me, though, it was back in college, basic thing was I had to earn money to pay my college fees. Once I was able to pay college fee, then I was able to earn good money, like 70, 80, 90,000 rupees a month. So you will be like, okay, I want to earn this. Then I started ghostwriting. So I realized I can ghostwrite a book and make 2 lakh rupees, 3 lakh rupees. That's insane. I want to do more of this, right? So that, and you keep doing more and you realize, oh my God, I can do this also and this also. Then I have traveled abroad for different events, conferences, moot court, and so that I liked very much. I had the money to do it. Travel across India. So I think all of that was very thrilling.
I think what I'm getting from you is that once you've tasted something that works,
Yeah.
then you
I say that freelancing is gateway drug for entrepreneurs. So instead of making money, you get the freedom. You realize that people are working hard to get the job where they'll earn less than this or as much as this.
so
So at the point you don't care about the job. So I joined a job not because I'll get so much money. It was I was already earning that much by fourth, fifth year. I joined thinking that I'll learn something that I wouldn't get the exposure if I don't join it.
once you got that, you could also see a lot more avenues coming out.
Yeah, absolutely. I learned a lot in college, not from the academics, but from doing projects, managing people, handling clients, handling academics, and this at the same time because it was like a full time job. So I used to say I work in 3 shifts.
That's amazing, yeah. So I mean, obviously, I'm assuming there was no time for relationships in the process.
No, I was in relationships. So
Okay, so you're telling me that it is possible, despite kind of.
I was mostly in broken relationships. I was pretty bad at. I didn't have the right understanding of what a good relationship is like. I didn't have good model relationships to model on because my parents. I always saw my parents fighting. So it took me a long time to figure out what kind of relationship I want to be. What does it?
Plus, what do you expect of a 20-year-old kid? Yeah, with a peak at 20 when you're in college.
It could be better. But okay, this is the journey.
I just wanted to quickly see if there's any space at all. Also, if it could.
No, I think that was the age when you are desperate to date, right? So by the time I was 18, 19, 20, I'm like, oh my God, it happens, right? In water.
Fair enough. Okay, so fourth year you started Act Leaders, right? That's what you mentioned.
Yeah.
And so how Act Leaders, so what I'm understanding is the entire it's an expanded version of you individually writing blogs and where people could also contribute, and it was
Yeah. I could write, let's say, one post a day, but I will try to persuade others to contribute.
Hmm.
So I'll give you a funny example. So there was this student of ours, and she's a friend of it. She was first a student and then became a friend. So I would talk to her on and off.
right.
And I'm like, why don't you? She's a cyber lawyer. So I'm like, why don't you write posts about these things? And she wrote like 3 posts telling public.
Hmm.
And naturally, she will post it also on your Facebook or whatever social media.
Right. Platforms.
And she got 3 clients in her own society
Wow.
because they didn't know she's a cyber lawyer. Well, I'm like, now we have to write more because, and she also got encouraged to write more.
Of course. Okay.
And many such examples, right? So I would tell people that you write, this is what happens, you should, and some people would write. I had created a system. So if somebody is not getting a job, one of my students is not getting a job, okay, I will tell them that you have to. There's a 15-day challenge. You have to write 30 articles. I will give you the topics, everything on your area of where it will be very relevant for your work.
Right.
But you have to write every day 2 articles, 4 hour, 4 hour,
Hmm.
8 hours. You will write 2 articles.
Okay.
I will edit and publish. Right. So usually after 7 to 10 days, you will get a job of doing this because one is that you are intensely writing, so your brain is at a different. People really change gears while doing this.
Fair enough. Yes, absolutely. Very insightful.
So I had an intern. So I had this thing that every day you would write 1 article, right? And this article has to be properly researched and everything. Now ChatGPT has messed up everything, but then you had to like draft it you will draft a skeleton structure, then you will answer each question, you have to research.
Right.
And every day you have to write one. And if you write one article every day, I will give you this much time. And if you fail, then you will not really be, you will publish and everything, but you will not get this time. And there was this student who used to rank like 10 in NLU school. Okay. She came and actually wrote those 30 articles in 30 days. 30 nahi over 25 over Sunday off jo bhi hai.
Oh.
And she got her this thing, and then she went back and called me back. Sir, I topped this time. My best rank till now was 4th, but something happened to my brain after doing this exercise. I am able to like process information fast.
Ramanuj, if I didn't know better, I would say you're biohacking people into like more productivity.
Yeah, I didn't buy it. This is a hack. Like, it changed people.
Of course.
So, and I got this also inside because in NUJs, what is the thing that I really got? That we had to write 5 projects of 5,000 words each every semester. So 10 such 5,000 word projects. And your marks depended on it. If you wrote a back on, you get bad marks. You wrote good, you'll get to be. Right? So you had to write a project. So every semester, and naturally we would post, procrastinate for last moment. But then in 1 or 2 nights, we'll write the whole thing.
Wow.
And so that writing changed me. Initially, I would sit in front of the computer, I don't know what to write.
I think it's a problem a lot of people face also.
Right. But then I kept trying, and then something flipped. By the time I was in third year, I could write in 48 hours a brilliant 5,000 word essay, right?
Wow.
With a well good rest of something you're supposed to do for the entire semester. Yeah, but like you have to do 5 of them, right? So I was able to do it. And then that's the transformation. So I created that program that this is what you do. And obviously you fail, no problem. But you, even after failing, you have changed. And if you succeed, then to out of the park, right? People changed.
So it's a positive progression in any case, either way.
Absolutely. One of our, like, not one, I think 3 of our students, the interns, went on to become like, Rhodes Scholarship. I know.
Wow, amazing.
Incredible, right? So, and so that, and so more people would come and write because we made this act of writing so cool and so, like so transformational that people will write. We had so many students of National Law School, Bangalore, who will come and intern in our office because they heard from somebody that this happened to them.
All right. So inspiring people through actual stories and results, both. Amazing. Acha, to, at what point did you decide कि IP readers, at what point was it a decision point where okay, now you needed to have an HR team or you had to have a marketing team? Because see, what I have understood is that business in any form or in any profession or any field still has those principles of business that's required. You need people under you. You need different. You need an accounts team, for example.
No, both are right. So basically, I remember there was very much in the beginning, maybe 2013, 2012, 11, right? Well, I was still working in the law firm. So I was talking to this friend uh, who's also a startup guy. Never succeeded in his own startups, but very good advisor.
But was he running a startup?
When he was running a startup, he was working in a startup bank, a robotic startup. So if he told me that, tell me, so I was like, I'm working very hard. I'll work like, 100 hours a month, whatever, like, crazy hours and everything, and like trying to work 18 hours a day, 14 hours a day. And he's like, तू 500 घंटा भी काम करेगा ना, you want to build 100 crore company? I'm like, yes, you can build 100 crore company. तू 500 घंटा काम करेगा दिन में, तब भी नहीं हो पाएगा. Calculate कर ले, right? So you have to learn to build a team. How will you build a team? So I'm like, I have to build a team. So it became very clear and early on that I have to build a team, and I had managed those freelancers. So I knew how difficult it is to get people to work. So I had no,
Right.
this fancy ideas that people will come and work. So like it's very difficult to get to.
You knew that beforehand, even before you had a first recruit.
And so I had to try and recruit people very hard, very hard. Even recruiting first co-founders, then other people. No one wants to work with you because they're like, who are you? Like, what would be, why will I work?
No street cred.
No street cred. So very difficult. But I was always recruiting. I think I have been always in recruiting mode for years, 4 or 5 years, like just trying to recruit all the time, looking for potential.
Which is fair. I completely get it. Having the right team and does wonders for you.
Yeah,
In fact, from what I've heard is that in any organization, I think there is only the top 5% people that actually drive the business. So
sure. Very difficult to find people who drive these, like to hire them, to retain them, to give them a reason to stay.
ठीक है
Very difficult.
राम दूसरी मेरे को चीज़ बताओ कि once you actually already had hybriders set up running functioning well, what gave you the idea of starting a new venture with Dosico and then later on to
So Loss Eco, I'll tell you what happened. Okay, so this is not like everything was done by design and plan and choice.
Hmm.
So iBleeders was kind of cruising, growing, but there was a problem. It was like our major client was iBleed, NUJ's, and NUJ's created problem now and then, every 3 months, every 6 months, something or the other. And we are always very concerned that something will blow up here.
Right.
Hope was that we'll manage. 5-6 साल तो चला तो आगे कर लेंगे, but it looked very problematic. So I had created Lawsico. If you remember, we were in Landmark. So Lawsico was my ACLP project. So I said, I will build this website, lawsico.com. I had the domain name from before, but I will put 100 courses here. And the idea is to create a revenue stream and a project which is outside of iBreeders and NUJS business, which was doing good, like, 5-6 crore revenue at that point.
Right.
Per year. Right. So the idea was keep to build something outside of this. And I said कि 10 lakh की revenue इसमें आएगा ना, तो my company said, today tomorrow something happens when you use, I'll not worry.
Fair enough. Right.
And I remember in January 2018, I hired a coach because I was not making any promise. I was thinking of this, build this, कुछ हो नहीं रहा था. 2017 में कुछ आगे बढ़ा नहीं. So 2018 January, I hired a coach saying that I want your help in taking this to a 10 lakh rupees per month cash flow. This business. It was doing 2 lakh, 3 lakh without much effort. But 10 lakh mein le jana hai. And the other business just 40-50 lakhs, right? So that's the, I mean, time नहीं दूसरा इलाज देने के लिए धरी fire by to. So then I hired the coach and I started taking baby steps. But before I could do much, the NUJS thing blew up. March, April, May, and from January I started working. By April, it's gone. And like we are on the road. Basically, and you just did it in such an ugly and bad way, unfair way. That they breached the contract, did not give us a prior notice, threw the students out without any kind of resolution, didn't pay us our dues, right? Just suspended or like this or anyway, this went on. Next 6 years there will be litigation and we'll win all the litigation eventually. Now they are doing lost litigation up to Supreme Court. Now they're like there's a, let's say, enforcement action, like, but
So, I mean, basically, what you had expected actually ended up happening.
happening,
Right.
happening. And that time I had this website and a couple of courses ready to launch.
Wow.
So iPleaders was anyway like in a big trouble and like massive, like, issues with, imagine like 3,500 students angry and shouting at you, writing about it on social media, attacking you every day. My phone is every day constantly ringing, like doesn't stop. And I'm talking. And I don't know how I'll pay salary of people.
Man. Okay.
50 लोग काम करते थे. So that was the situation. Very bad situation. What to do? We launched Noasico and the goal was कि this month we have to do at least 5 lakh of revenue. 10 lakh to book. 5 लाख की रेवेन्यू हो गया तो लोगों का आधा सैलरी दे देंगे, रेंट निकल जाएगा, तो कंटिन्यू कर सकते हैं फाइट. 8 लाख का 8.5 लाख का रेवेन्यू आ गया फर्स्ट.
क्या बात है यार.
And this was like I was in Goa that time. I was to personally call the leads every day. My goal was to call 10 leads. I used to manage calling 5 leads. And I had one more person, head of sales. Everybody left because I couldn't pay them. Sales team there. So I was there. And the head of sales, that guy, Ratul Rudra, he stayed to help. Like he was like ठीक है करते हैं, right? I'll support you. And he would follow up. I don't know what will happen, but so the entire month I remember on 30th, like we decided कि 5 lakh हो गया तो the 14 people including me or 13 people, I don't know, 14 maybe. We decided to stay back and at least fight and see what happens. See it through. तो पहले महीने में 5 लाख रेवेन्यू करना था, 3.5 लाख हुआ on 30th. And then a mail goes out saying last chance to enroll. And people start enrolling. All those people who haven't been enrolling, who I had spoken to, they start enrolling. Last. One evening we got 5 lakh of revenue. You're kidding me.
All right.
And 8.5 lakh हो गया, तो then we were like, ठीक है. This product market fit. People want this. Despite all this bad mouthing, all these problems, everything, there's a real need of real people. They will pay money to solve their problem. If you can give them what they want.
And absolutely, you must have added some value, like then there must have been a proper value addition.
Absolutely. People want, they have a problem, they want the solution. They'll buy. And then we were like, okay, we have a place to stand. Now we can fight. Then we scaled it out. 10 lakh हो गया, 20 lakh हो गया, 50 lakh हो गया. We do it. I mean, it was, I think this whole NUJS thing pushed us back by 2 years. But beyond that, we stood up again. And then obviously,
Plus, I think what it also did was give you that confidence. Like,
no, basically, if we stayed with NUJS, they didn't allow us to innovate. Because it's a government university with their own mindsets, with their own processes.
yeah, with their own walls.
Correct. So when that was off, it was like only thing that matters is the student. How can we deliver more value to the student? Handcuffs are off. You do whatever it takes. And that, I think that NUJS thing was a golden handcuff.
That's an amazing, amazing story, huh?
Right. So after that, so it just absolutely fabulous results came.
Yeah, I also think, yeah, once you've gone through a certain difficulty, na, I think you come out the other end with a lot more confidence, a lot more,
Yeah, mental strength grows, no? So you have seen that depths of despair and you've come out of it. So I have seen different kinds of people. There are people who are like, oh my God, this is so bad. I don't want to do this again. I don't feel like that. I feel like that is okay. There are the farther this kind of problems happening, bounce back even higher. That is the fundamental belief. जितना भी problem होता है, that comes you to teach you something. If you can take the lesson, it will take you much higher than you were previously imagined.
actually really shocked to actually and realize that something that was going so well for you suddenly overnight, basically, from what I see, yeah, just got wrap pulled under from and just actually maintaining and seeing that through. I mean, I must commend the kind of internal courage and strength it takes when you have those phones ringing.
Yeah, haven't even now we had a bad 6 monthly result. Like it's not bad by other company standards, but we have been like doubling our revenue. 80-90% तो होता ही है हर साल. Now this year it was not like maybe 35%, 40%. So that lot of investors are upset. We also we are very upset. We didn't expect this. So some investor telling me, "Are you crazy? This is a good result. Why are you crying?" And we are like, "No, this is very bad." But now that we know why it happened. But if we take the right lessons from it, we can grow faster. We can do more amazing things. So that's what it is. Like, you should never say no to a lesson. It should be like, key there, learn it, admit your failure, learn from it. Yeah. This is, then see where is the opportunity. There has to be a hidden opportunity.
Yeah, like they say that there are no failures, only lessons that go on.
Yeah, right. So there's not, I don't just say listen, there's an opportunity. The obstacle is the opportunity. There's something hidden. You have to look hard until you find.
I was actually also going to ask, what was the most challenging period of being an entrepreneur or in being.
Yeah, every day is challenging. I'll tell you what are the most challenging periods. The challenging period is when you know this should work and you have done everything and the result is taking time and you know it will work, but it's just such a scary period. Okay? And you have so much uncertainty and dealing with that and convincing people that no, it's going to work. Hold on, hold on. That's the most difficult part. and the difficult phase. Always it happens somehow.
Yeah.
And it always happens. Every 3 months, 6 months, something like
I guess that's a good thing too, because it shows that you're sincere about what you're doing.
that. Sure. But that's the hard part. Dealing with their uncertainty, dealing with other people's uncertainty.
Okay, I guess one more thing I wanted to know was, so you set up, I understood why Law Seco was and from what need it came out of. For a lot of people, handling and managing two business itself is quite a task. You have recently also started another line of business called skills arbitrage.
So see, I am not running different businesses in my head. For me, it's all part of the same puzzle, right? Okay. So there are natural trajectory. So we've been running Law Seco and we realized that we are eventually going to hit a ceiling law. Because there are only so many people studying law. Only so many of them want to take the arduous journey of learning something new. Like, so you can't sell to all lawyers, first of all. But let's say if you're already selling to 5-10%, it's a lot. It's like you are eventually one day going to hit the ceiling on this. Okay, you can go into other countries, etc., etc. But those are all, that's like you have to keep growing. That's a different scale. And you have to get into new markets. So it made sense to us, given the marketing resources we had, the things we knew about the market, that we should, and what we were doing, what was working for us was that teaching foreign law to Indian lawyers so that they could get international jobs, international remote jobs, international remote freelance work. And then the question was that why not do this in other areas? Why not do it in accounting? Why not do it in HR or finance or marketing, sales, everybody,
Any industry.
So different skills, right? Skill based white collar jobs. So we did that, data science and more areas where there is a lot of demand in the US market, UK market, Canadian market, Middle East.
It was more of a logical conclusion.
Logical point that you do this after that. So we did, and now 70% of our revenue comes from skill arbitrage.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. So that has,
And this is the newest venture you've had.
yeah, no. So this we are doing for the last 2.5 years. Skill arbitrage. So been a while, and skill arbitrage will grow bigger than law, super much bigger.
Because of the
Market size is much bigger.
yeah. All right.
That is one thing, and the other thing is that there is we have services export business, so there are new brands there. So there's always, you have to keep expanding into new things. Like it makes sense at every stage that you are doing it. And I don't see these as different businesses. These businesses feed into each other. They are complementary to each other.
Fair enough. Okay, so you have established these things, you have seen the hurdles, bottlenecks. As a founder, as an entrepreneur, do you what do you think is or what do you spend your time towards now? Since basically
So last few months, I'm very excited about AI. And I am seeing that there is massive transformational potential of AI in our work. Okay. So I've been focusing on that. One part is growing revenue, solving very ardent business problems, but AI, like it sometimes feels like, AI is messing with the laws of gravity in business. Like, all the previous rules are gone.
right.
The entirely new line of things can be done. Incredible things can be done, which was not even thinkable. So only thing is we know very well is that if we don't do it on time, somebody else will do it.
Good person.
Then we'll be in trouble.
This was even from like maybe 1.5, 2 years ago. I read somewhere that there's this investor who was investing in some Hollywood studio. He was investing $500 million and he pulled off the deal because he got to know about, what AI is going to be capable of doing within.
I don't think that is a very smart thing. See, you have to think of it this way, that AI is not going to shut down the Hollywood studio.
Hmm.
The Hollywood studio is the domain expert. The Hollywood studio will make more money using AI.
Hmm.
I believe in that.
I kind of agree with you on this that,
It is not like I don't know anything about Hollywood and I am going to suddenly start a studio and with AI beat Hollywood studio. That is unlike me. But it can mean the Hollywood studio can be more efficient, or maybe some executive from Hollywood studio will build something even more cooler with AI. That is possible. More efficient, better. But I don't think domain expertise has no value and just anybody can do everything. They're also not doing that.
I kind of agree with you on that. That at the time that computers are invented, there was the same scare that it's going to take up jobs and it's going to take away. And while I agree that AI will consume certain sectors like the BPO.
I remember when we were doing our IPO, January 2022. Sorry, January 24, we did our IPO.
All right.
January 24. And 23, between January 20 and 24, we knew we were going to do the IPO and spoke to so many investors. Many investors also said like this, that, oh, there will be no law jobs. Oh, there will be no, even say customer support. I said ki bhai, customer support is not getting automated. What are you talking about? They're like, no, in 1 year there will be no customer support. And they're changing. Customer support jobs are changing. There will be jobs. Even customer support has not been fully automated. And it will never be 100% automated. It will be AI plus human. Right? Those humans need different skills. Right? So it's going to be there.
It's like you said, it's going to make things faster.
It's changed. It is different. But so many people said no, there will be only AI handling an entire customer support. Hasn't happened. And customer support is still a different thing. It's an unregulated profession.
Right.
There are regulated professions like law. Do you think just because an AI theoretically could do a better job than a judge, government will allow AI to do the job of a judge? No.
Of course not. Right. That's a
Well, they won't allow. Similarly, just because a car can drive itself, if you think the government will allow car to be driven itself, no. They'll be like, no, every truck must have a driver. Every cab must have a driver. They won't allow. Not even in US, not in India. Maybe some Dubai or some other autocratic.
That's all very experimental space.
Zone designate democracies will allow driverless cars for commercial purpose. Private purpose to chalo fir bhi ho saka. Okay. And this is regulated profession. Do you think nurses, doctors, architects will be replaced by AI? No. They will use AI.
Accelerate the performance.
Accelerate the performance, all of that. Software engineer is not a regulated profession. But even then, software engineers are also not going to be wholesale.
Right.
Right? Teachers will not be replaced. Even if AI does better job than teacher will not be replaced. The regulated job. So, first of all jobs are not going away. That is said by people who don't understand society, law, regulations. Don't have any. They're naive children. They say all jobs will go out become AI. They have no idea how this world works.
Exactly. Right.
Okay. At least democracies.
So you're moving. You're bullish on AI, and so it has your interest now. Where do you think?
Yeah, it's crazy. So I am working on currently we're working on sales, right? So in the last few months we built this very incredible AI software, and we tried using first off the shelf AI software, which we specialize in sales analyze, and it didn't work for us. So we built it in house. And what it is able to do is that we started auditing our sales calls. So we used to have, like, say, imagine every day there are 500 half an hour, 1 hour long sales calls that our team is producing. But how do you know what mistakes they're doing, where they're going off, why the sales is not happening? Is that they're saying the lead is bad? Is it actually bad? How do you know that? So AI can tell all of that. AI can listen to the call, transcribe it, and analyze it based on all the previous data, that which is a good call, where. So we have broken down the task of a sales call, right? So this is a call opening, then there's burning problem discovery, then there's goal setting, then there's roadmap.
You get a full analysis of the
That, and the AI is able to tell us exactly what has happened on each of those segments and where the caller needs training so that they can be better, or where they are making mistakes. So that first it started with audit, then slowly it is going into predictive models where it can tell which leads you should spend time with, which lead was not adequately handled, which leads will convert faster. So it's great. So those things we built. And so- and becoming increasingly possible, to train people on more complicated methods of sales and on information, all of that. We have a chatbot where people can practice and
Acha,
goal play.
that's amazing. Yeah. So I mean, so your integration has begun with AI. Like the
So
starting
point as it sales, then it's great. Then we realize okay, sales is one thing. What about market? Acha, if you can do it in sales, you can do it in operations and support also. All of your customer support calls, everything can be audited, knowledge base created, and then a part of it can be automated. And there can be a handoff when a person wants to talk to a human. You initially handled basic questions answers by AI on a call, on chat, however you like. So all of those things are to be done. We are working on it. And then marketing is an entirely different thing. See, marketing is going to be catastrophic because marketing till now was that you show the same ad to everyone. Now imagine a lead comes and you can find everything, all the publicly available data about this lead or their history of interaction with you. All right. And based on that, you can show them a customized ad. There will be no generic email. Every email follow up will be customized. Based on what you all want. Every pitch will be customized. Everything will be customized. Based on all the stuff you know about that person from publicly available information, the social media, their
their silence bound to boost sales like massively.
absolutely. And you don't have to go to Facebook to run an ad. What ad is like same thing for everyone. You can send them a customized email. It will not even go to spam because it is a unique content that exists and it is so direct speaking to the person. You know exactly what to put in the subject line that they'll open it. That is the potential of marketing. We haven't seen that yet. It's going to roll out over the next 1 or 2 years. We already have the capability. Only question is to actually build it out.
Right. That right direction in which it's moving.
So so in B2B, imagine like somebody before coming to your business automatedly creates an entire framework of what you need. Let's say your social media marketing, right? What exactly are your problems is audited, your social media comments about it found, and based on that, a customized pitch comes to you. And then everybody follow up is also customized based on your new posts or new,
Oh man,
right? AI can do that.
yeah, it is capable of doing it as a day.
AI can do that. You just have to build out the workflow.
It's crazy the lens to which you have actually like, you know, it's just it's one thing to generically say that okay, this is AI is going to change the world. And this is you being like really
This is what I'm thinking about and working about, right? So, and it's like, I'm like, oh my God, like your ad cost does not exist, right? You can literally imagine, even you can send automated calls which sound exactly like human beings, and the prospect cannot tell that it's a robotic this thing, calls and gets them into a meeting. If you forgot to, you didn't see an email, I can get a call with you and make you open. Like everything is possible. It's just incredible. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it feels like the laws of physics have changed after it in marketing. Like sales, yes, you can build. See, why sales organizations are built on culture. You need a great sales culture to have a great sales organization. After AI, no. AI holds the culture. AI holds the line. AI tells you if people are wasting time or going off track, mis-selling, everything. Mis-selling is impossible in the AI world. Now that and your culture, like people are working or not, they can't pretend to work.
there is very accessible and real results actually.
Not result. AI knows what you do, right? So you can
Fully laboratory him.
and in the future you are on the call, AI will tell you what to say. Can show you prompt with your judgment maybe AI will tell you exactly what to say and which direction to drive the conversation.
Oh, and that's actually really interesting. And Ramanuj, it's genuinely very. It's been really interesting to say the least to have had this time. And thanks once again for spending time with us today.
Almost.
And it'll be great to kind of maybe have another session with you at some point where we can follow
Sure.
and kind of further discuss where these AI and things have led. So thanks once again, Ramanuj, for joining us. And yeah, I'm looking forward to sitting with you again.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Cheers. Bye bye.